Are you all already distributors or?
Yes.
You are, isn't it? You're
Yes.
already distributors.
Yes.
So now I'm wondering whether I should go through the whole gamut of the whole presentation. You want to listen to the whole presentation?
Yes. Original, yes, the best.
Okay, then you'll be my guinea pigs. So something. Not really guinea pig, but okay. So good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to be a presenter. Okay. My name is Thiru. So this evening you're going to listen to me. Okay. So on behalf of United, let me welcome you. I know that you all have been here before, so it's a refresher. It's kind of like a refresher. Okay. It's good that you are present here. I always start my talk by saying that it's good that you are present here. And since you are already here, you know, because especially today when you've got so much of demands for your time, and you can be anywhere else, but the fact that you chose to be here means something. It means that your mind is open to taking new information. And that is good. That is good because I always tell my audience that the mind is like a parachute. It's only useful when it is open. Okay? So, and since you're already here, in order to help you stay present here, you know how it is where you can be in one place but your mind always wanders all over the place because so many other things out there. So in order to avoid all of that, I want you to stay present in this room. Okay? So in order to stay present in this room, you will take out that mobile device of yours and put it to silent. Either put it to silent or switch it off. If you really need to answer the call, you really must, or the message, please step out of the room so that you do not distract anyone else who's here, of course. Okay? So do that. Stay open, stay present, and from time to time, as you sit in those chairs thinking the thought that you are thinking, you will have questions. Yes, my request is that hold back on the questions, because sometimes the questions that you have at the point in time may get answered by the end of the presentation. Okay? So in order not to waste time, not to disrupt the presentation, I would suggest that jot down the question as it appears, or take note of it, and ask me at the end of the presentation if you still have questions. And I promise you I'll stay as long as needed to answer those questions as best as I can. Okay? And the fourth thing that I require you all to do is, as you get these questions and as you are open-minded, you're just taking in all this information, I need to gauge whether the information that I'm presenting is reaching you or not. So I'll be asking for participation, I'll be asking you all questions. So please participate. But this is an energy exchange. As much as I get the energy from you, I will give you more. And then you will get out from this evening a whole lot more. And you do want to get the most out of this time that you're going to spend here. Because it's an investment, right? Investment in time. Thanks. Okay. And I promise you that I will do my level best to make sure that about 1.5 hours that you're going to spend here is going to be the best use of the time. Okay? If by the end of this presentation, if you go away with nothing else, but just knowing and understanding fully well the 3 basic root causes of all degenerative diseases that affects the people of today, and if that causes you to do something to change your lifestyle so that you can live a little better, and then in so doing affect the people around you, your loved ones, to live a little bit better, make better lifestyle choices, would that be good enough? Would the time have been worth it?
Yes.
That's what will happen. Okay, that's what will happen by the end of this presentation. So I just need you all to stay here, stay present here, keep an open mind, go back on the questions and participate. And then we'll both get the best out of this evening. Okay? With that, let me start with this Kangen water presentation. Kangen incidentally means back to origin, return to origin. Because the founder of this company, Mr. Hironari Oshiro, wanted everyone to have this idea in the mind that by drinking this water, I'm bringing you back to the original healthy state. Most of us, when we were born, we were alkaline and we were very healthy. Most of us anyway. Yeah? So we want to bring back. That's the idea of trademarking this name called Kangen. Kangen is a Japanese term. So before I begin with the presentation proper, is it okay if I share a little bit about why I'm standing here? Why am I here? How did I get introduced to this business and why am I so passionate about it?
Yeah, sure.
Sure?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. See, until November of 2011, I didn't know anything about this water. Whatever I'm going to tell you today, incidentally, it's not from me, it's from some experts. All I've done is research, put the information together, collated it so that I can present it to you. Okay? And until November of 2011, I didn't know anything about this. I happen to be one of those people who believe Lee Kuan Yew. Because 30 years ago, he made a statement. I don't know whether you are old enough to have heard the statement. In a TV broadcast, he said, our water is one of the cleanest in the world. We've invested a lot in the infrastructure, so don't waste your energy reboiling that water and wasting energy. If millions of households all do the same, if they don't boil, we will save this nation a lot of energy. That was his plea on TV, and he drank a glass of water just straight off the tap. I took it to heart and I used to drink this water from anywhere. From anywhere. Every tap, anywhere I used to drink. Even from the toilet. Not from the toilet bowl, but from any tap. Okay? That's how strongly I believe. It is one of the cleanest water in the world by any standard. By even WHO standard, it is one of the cleanest in the world. Have a seat, have a seat. Thank you. Thank you for coming. We just started anyway, so just started. So yeah, have a seat. Sorry. Yeah. Now get more audience. So, as I was saying, yeah, until November of 2011, I didn't know anything about the information that I presented to you today. Okay, something happened which pushed me into that. Until 2011, I believe that Singapore's water is one of the cleanest in the world. Okay, and it is. By WHO standard, it is one of the cleanest in the world. Yeah, but is it the best water for your body? That's a different question altogether. One which I never asked until 2011. You see, until 2011, as healthy as I looked, as healthy as I was feeling, something was wrong inside, and I didn't know that. I didn't know what it was. Okay, because I kept falling sick. I kept falling sick quite regularly. It wasn't like that before in my younger days when I was active and all that. But in my later years, maybe it's stress, maybe it's lifestyle, I don't know. But I kept falling sick quite often. And the worst part was, as I fell sick, the sickness used to last a bit long. How many of you have heard of this thing called the 100-day cough? It's quite well known, right? Mine seemed to last like 200 or 300 days. Okay.
1 year.
So I saw that a friend of mine one day asked me, he said, Thiru, what's wrong with you? You look healthy outwardly, but something is wrong because every time I see you, you are sick. It was not a major sickness, but it was like flu or cough or cold or something like that. But it was the period when I was without any medication, any sort of sickness was so short that every time my friend saw me, he thought I was always sick. So I said, hey, something must be wrong. So I went in search of an answer. So in my search, when I was looking for it, somebody mentioned that maybe there's too much of toxins in your system, maybe you need to detoxify. So one thing led to another, and I landed up in in Desmond and Doris, their shop in Lucky Chinatown. They run a alternative wellness clinic in Lucky Chinatown. And I went there to detox. Okay, it's a food detox kind of thing, which is, they run a very healthy and very clean practice. And it helps you to remove a lot of toxins from your system by a machine they have where you put your feet in the water and stuff like that. It takes about 45 minutes. So that's when Desmond very slyly introduced me to this water, because he had this machine sitting in his counter and he was dispensing water from that. So he gave me the water and he said, since you're going to sit there for 45 minutes, is it okay if I introduce you to this, what this water is about? And there's a short 10-minute clip. If you watch it, very interested, we can talk about it. And because I was open-minded, and while I was sitting there, as I hope you all are, sitting in those chairs, thinking the thoughts that you're thinking, that you are open-minded, I sat down and listened to this information. And the information that I saw kind of like intrigued me, kind of like got me interested. Because in that video, that report was called International Wellness Report on Restructured Water. How many of you have seen that? If you haven't, ask the person who brought you here to show you the clip in YouTube. I've uploaded that same video on YouTube too, so you can watch it there. And in that video, you have this elderly Japanese gentleman whose foot is completely rotting away. The toes are kind of like dropping off. They are diabetic and they have actually marked the feet for amputation. And as a last ditch effort, the doctors in Japan would get this man to soak his feet in a 2.5 strong acid water that is produced by this machine, and get him to drink about 5 liters of alkaline water, 9.5 pH alkaline water, which is also produced by his machine. So he soaks his feet and he drinks his water, and within 2 weeks, the next shot you see is that his feet recovers. The toes are gone because they were very badly what you call gangrenous and degenerated. But in place of the toes you get a stump, but it's completely healed. And then the next shot is he wears the shoes and he's walking up. And this is a very elderly Japanese gentleman. He got me, so it kind of like got me very curious. I did a bit of research and kind of like got confused, kind of like got convinced just watching that video alone. And at that point in time, what Desmond told me kind of blew my mind, because he said, now that you have found out about this water, would you like to try it? Okay. Now a salesman tells you, would you like to try it? It means something, right? It means how much is it going to cost me, isn't it? That's what I was thinking. But what he told me next kind of totally blew my mind. Because he said, now that you have found out about the water, you can try it and I'll give it to you free. And I said, how much can you give me? You know, trying the water one day is not going to help. He said, no, I'll give it to you free. 5 liters of this water every day for the next 2 weeks or even 1 month if you need it, I'll give it to you free. All you need to do is pay me for the container, come back and collect it. And I said, wow, that's new. Because in today's environment, you have heard of a lot of miraculous cures, right? There's a dime a dozen M&M companies, each one having phenomenal products, purporting to have miraculous curative powers. But in order to try each and every one of them, you've got to make some commitment in terms of taking out your wallet and paying some money, isn't it? But here was a man who was telling me, try the water for free. So now think about this. What kind of a mindset must this man have on the efficacy of this water to tell you to take it away free? For 1 month, not small quantity, 5 liters every day. It's a lot they must have. Later on I found out that it's a philosophy of this company because they believe on the curative powers of this water so much. They say, try it, and when you try it, you will know. So I want you to think about that. What kind of confidence level they must have on the product in order to make you that statement, because nobody does that. Okay? So I said, okay, let me try it. Since it's not going to cost me anything, I will try, nothing to lose. So I took the water and I tried it for about a month, November of 2011 till about December. And while I was doing some research on this, and I thought, okay, fine, it seems to be working very well, and I'll buy the machine. But I was not 100% convinced. I mean, I was convinced enough for my own health, but I was not going to be evangelistic about it. I was not going to stand out in any audience and preach about this water like what I am doing today. Until March of 2012, when something happened which changed the whole equation. Because in March of 2012, I attended some other seminar, and in the seminar I met a guy. We got to talking. So I slowly just mentioned to him about this water, and I said, I got this machine, it produces A to Z kind of 7 different pH of water. One of the water can treat your skin condition and stuff like that. And then he asked me a question. He said, will it help my wife? So I said, what's wrong with your wife? And he said, she has got this psoriasis, this problem of psoriasis or something. There's this black spot that appears on a body and especially the face, and it's affecting her. It's affecting her very badly. Will it help? So I said, I don't know. I've read the literature. I've read dozens of testimony which says it helps with psoriasis. If you want, I'll give you the water for free. Go and try it, right? As we are advised to do. So he tried it. The only problem was, when he made the decision to try it, I was going to leave to India. After introducing the water to me, I was going to leave to India for about 9 days. So I told him, I got him introduced to Desmond. And I said, when I'm not here, you need the water, please go and see Desmond and pick it up. And Desmond will give you the water free of charge. And I went off. When I came back 9 days later, Desmond told me, Thiru, good news. The friend you introduced him, he has already bought the machine. In 5 days, he made the decision to buy the machine. It made such a big impact that he decided to buy the machine. I came back, I was surprised because I took 1 month to decide, and this man took 5 days. So I asked him what happened, because on the other hand I was worried because the machine can be considered to be pricey by some. It is not pricey when you take it over the lifespan, but some people might consider it to be pricey. I said, right. You will find out in a short while. Okay, I'll tell you. Yeah, so they would say that. Now what happens is, this man made a decision in 5 days. So I called him up to find out how come he made the decision. And he said it makes a lot of sense, because in 5 days, this water managed to do what 8 years of medicine did not do for my wife. The face started healing, and the face is a big thing. 2 months later, when I was giving a talk, he was sitting in the corner, and he stood up to give testimony. And he said previously when his wife's face was full of this black spots, and she was kind of like withdrawn because of this, now I have to stare very hard to see a very faint scar on the right side. That's how much of a difference it made to her face. And not only that, because today face is everything, right? When you have got a face which is not very presentable, it kind of affects your personality. So it was beginning to affect her. She was refusing to go out. It was affecting the husband-wife relationship. And this water kind of like repaired that relationship. So he was very happy about it. So when I heard that, and I said, wow, okay, I'm sitting on a machine which is almost miraculous. And what am I doing being selfish, just sitting down and drinking on my own? So that night I went back home and I blasted an email to about 200 of my friends on my Gmail list. The very next morning, a very close friend of mine sent me his brother to come and see me. This friend is a very old friend of mine. I go back a very long way with him. His mother is like my mother. The sad part was when the younger brother came to see me, the mom was in hospital and her leg had been amputated because she's diabetic. See, there was her lower part of the right leg, there was no circulation. So they did an operation, they put a stent on it, and then the blood was still clotting. So they did a second operation, they put another stent, the blood was still clotting. And the doctor said, your mom's leg will die. Therefore we must operate, because if we don't, it will die and the poison will go back, and your mom's age, she was about 80 years old, that will be life-threatening. So we need to chop off. Now, think about this. I was very saddened by this because I've seen that video. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go back and watch that video, where this elderly Japanese gentleman, his feet is gangrenous and they save it. It's completely rotting away and they save it by using this water. In Singapore, they say your feet will die and they chop it off. That was sad. Because we are treating a lot of symptoms and we don't go for the root cause. Which kind of like reminds me of another incident where a Dr. Ko, he's a retired gynecologist. He ran a very successful practice. He's a very strong proponent of alkaline water. He used to represent some other Korean brand, and now he's very strongly convinced that this is the best machine in the market to represent. Okay. And he was giving a talk. And he was talking about an incident where a friend of his, who's about 50 something years old, did a complete medical checkup with the doctors under the current regimen. They do the treadmill test and blood pressure and everything like a normal health checkup. They gave him a very clean bill of health. Everything was okay. But 6 months down the road, this man ended up having cancer. So Dr. Ko in his seminar made a statement. He said, what then is being healthy? You and I sit down here, we think we look healthy, we are healthy. But what really is healthy? Because with knowing what we know today, with all the medical tests, they couldn't identify that this particular man's body was ripe enough for cancer to take root. So what is healthy? And he made a statement, the true health is when you have your acid and alkaline in proper balance. That was his statement. Okay. Which kind of like brings me to this topic today. If by the end of today, if you go away understanding the 3 main root causes of all, not some, all degenerative diseases that's out there, and that causes you to do some changes in your lifestyle, simple changes which can eradicate these 3 root causes, and therefore prepare your body not to get any one of this disease. Would that be good enough? Would that be something worth your time here? Would that be? And that's what we are going to go into. Okay? So, Kangen water. Now, we know water is very important. We know that all living things need water. And yet, the importance of the quality of that water is never stressed to us. We take it for granted. Like in Singapore, we drink water from anywhere, right? Because we happen to be in a very fortunate country where water from every tap is drinkable. If it's not drinkable, they will specify. They will say not potable. We take it for granted. But in Singapore, in the industrial estate, there's few taps where they will tell you it's not potable. In most countries, most third world countries, you've got to assume the water is not drinkable unless they tell you it's drinkable. Here it's the other way around. So we are in a very fortunate situation. And as I said, we live in a country where the water is one of the cleanest in the world. But is it the best for your body? Is something we're going to find out in a short while. Okay? So all living things need this water. The company's tagline is change your water and change your life. I never knew the strength of this statement until I tested it. It changed my life. And I'm guessing that by the end of today, it will do the same thing for you. Okay? Root causes. First root cause is oxidative stress. What is oxidative stress? It is basically caused by what is known as free radical. How many of you are aware of what is free radical? You are? Very good. And do you know what is oxidative stress? Okay, we'll go a little bit into it. Yeah? Second main root cause is acidosis, or too much of acidity. Okay? Third root cause is dehydration or lack of water. If you're asking yourself, today's you on the tap you can get water, how can it be lack of water? Right? We're not talking about lack of water everywhere else, we're talking about lack of water within your body. Okay? So the first root cause, oxidative stress, or rather known as free radical damage. See, the fact that you are living and breathing, there's metabolic activity in your body. That metabolic activity throws out waste, and that waste is acidic waste, and also it throws out another byproduct of that is called active oxygen, which is a free radical. What are free radicals? Free radicals are substances that are in your system, okay, either because of your metabolic activity or because of the way you are breathing, the pollution that comes in, especially now with all the haze and everything, that free radical is something, free means, doesn't mean good, yeah? Free means it has got no function. Radical means it radicalizes, it destroys your tissues and cells. Okay, that's what a free radical does. It is a substance which is unstable. It has lost an electron, it is unstable. Until its hunger gets satisfied or satiated by an electron, it is a scavenger. It will latch on to any good cell in your system and suck that electron out. That's how it causes the damage. When that process of removing an electron from your normal cell is called oxidation or oxidative stress. Okay? In nature you get this. When you cut an apple, it becomes black after a while. That's an example of oxidation. You leave metal pieces out there in the open, it rusts, subjected to the elements, that's oxidation. If you leave those metal pieces long enough, they will completely disintegrate and crumble. That is oxidation, that's what will happen. In the human body, you are born like that, and then you become like that by the time you go to the grave. That's part of oxidation. In Kangen water, we have got a breakthrough technology which actually has antioxidation, anti-inflammatory and anti-aging properties. Okay? Because it reduces or it completely nullifies this oxidative stress. Okay? And an example of this, of its anti-inflammatory, anti-aging is this man. He is Hironari Oshiro, the man in the center. Yeah? Not the good looking guy on the right. And that's his wife. Just for interest's sake, those who know, keep quiet please. Do you know what's his age? Can you all guess? How old do you think he is? Any guess? You all are new, right?
I don't know, maybe it's 80, 70.
Wow, okay, you are one of the first people who guessed 80 or 70.
But you know that he's in 30s.
Okay, 30 is a bit too young. I would say he guessed, he looks like he's in his 50s or something. But he's actually 73 years old. 73. But what's important is I saw him, this picture was taken in August of 2012. I saw him in a Malaysia office opening. This man not only looks like that, he behaves like that. By that I mean he has got so much of energy. At 73 years old, at 76, I know how my mom is. She needs support. You know? This man is up there on stage standing for half an hour and talking with a lot of vitality and a lot of energy. That is the lifestyle that I would want. Not just about the cosmetic appearance. That's a bonus. Yeah, that's what we're all looking for, to live healthily. And that's how it is. Now, why? Because this man has been drinking this water for more than 20 over years. Okay. It's a testament to the anti-aging properties of this water. When you understand a little bit more what this water does, you will know why it works that way. Okay? You don't have to take my word for the amount of damage that oxidative stress does to you, or free radical. This is an expert. His name is Dr. Sharma. If you read the slide, it will tell you that this man is an accomplished man. He is a professor of pathology and director of the Cancer Prevention Natural Products Research at the Ohio State University College of Medicine. He is also a diplomat of the American Board of Pathology and fellow of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons. He is a consultant to the National Institute of Health, blah 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 blah. He has written more than 100 scientific studies. So he is an acknowledged expert. Again, you don't have to take my word for it. In fact, I would say don't believe everything that I say, because today with Google you can always verify this information. Yeah? But keep an open mind. Do not block any information from coming in. Okay? Now this man says this: free radicals, a major cause of aging and disease. His statement is this: if free radicals are produced in the DNA, and the DNA becomes transformed and it becomes mutated, transformed DNA will produce cancer, leukemia, lymphoma, diabetes, kidney problem, liver problem, and almost every disease is related to the damage caused by these free radicals. If we remove the damage we are causing ourselves, all, not some, all these diseases can be prevented. It's a very powerful statement. That's just a simple statement about oxidative stress and what it does to you. 16 years ago, I found out about oxidative stress, and there's something called antioxidants. How many of you are familiar with antioxidants? Yeah? The most common antioxidant is vitamin C. A stronger, better known antioxidant is called pycnogenol. It is a pine bark extract. A lesser known cousin of that is something which is extracted from grape seed. It's called grape seed extract. It's also an antioxidant. What do antioxidants do? They basically neutralize the free radicals. Because an antioxidant has got the ability to donate electrons. A free radical is a scavenger, it needs electrons. In your body, absent anything else, it will latch on to a good cell and suck the electron out. But if you get an antioxidant which donates an electron to these free radicals, incidentally the free radicals don't care where they get the electron from. Okay? The minute they get the electron, they become neutralized, and then what's left is for your body to flush it out of the system. That's how you neutralize free radical damage. Simple as that. But it so happens that every day, every second, we've got a lot of free radical damage happening in our system. So you need a lot of antioxidants. Okay, which is why it is a multi-million-dollar industry out there. You go to GNC, Nature's Farm, anywhere you can find diamond dozen. A little known fact is that vitamin C, while it is an antioxidant, when it donates its electron, itself is now lacking an electron, therefore it becomes a free radical. Albeit it's a lesser damaging free radical than the original free radical. So it also needs to be flushed out of the system. Okay? Now, if you look at that chart, that's the chart which reflects on all the different organs within our body. And you realize that oxidative stress or other free radical damage affects every one of our organs. Just take a moment just to look at everything out there, and you'll probably find something that affects somebody, either yourself or somebody around you. And that's how pervasive it is. So we want to stop free radical damage. Okay? And one of the expensive solutions is to go to these pharmacies and buy antioxidants and consume them, copious amounts of them. And they might be effective. Some of them might be, some of them might not be, because it depends on how much your body is able to absorb. But we've got an easier solution. Okay? How does this water factor in with that? This is where we're going to demonstrate. Okay? This is where we're going to demonstrate. Now, in order to demonstrate that, I need to take a sample of all this water and use this equipment. Okay? This is called an ORP meter. It is called an ORP meter. Oxidation reduction potential. That's what it means, ORP, or they call it redox. Now, a substance is either oxidative in nature or it is reducing in nature. Okay? Reduction is the opposite of oxidation. A substance which is lacking electron is an oxidative substance. A substance which has got extra amount of electron is a reducing substance. Okay? So that's what we're going to measure. What we are going to do is we have a sample of water. Why? Because we just want to show you that out of all the water that is out there, there is practically nothing which is antioxidant in nature. They add somehow or other to oxidative stress. You don't have to take my word for it, you're going to see that now. Okay? Now, if you have got a particular water that you like to drink, that you think is fantastic, that you've been drinking, please bring it over here and you can test it out to see whether it is good or not good. Any one of you here prefer Evian? I don't have Evian here today, but do you know?
My favorite water is 100 plus.
My favorite is 100 plus. Okay.
Yeah, throw away.
This says cactus. It says Minuman mineral is from Malaysia, our neighbor. Right? This is from FNN, Ice Mountain, natural mineral water. This is Alpheus, distilled pure drinking water. So it represents any water that is distilled. In today's market, you've got distilled water, you've got RO water, then you've got so-called natural spring mineral water. This is Dasani. This fella is getting to be very popular. It's everywhere. Okay, that's the strength of their marketing. They're everywhere. This is 100 plus. I've got 100 plus here to represent all the sports drinks. Whether it's Gatorade, Pocari, whatever it is you want to call it, it's all here. This represents that. Okay. Here, this is Sprite. Okay. Aerated water, which represents any one of those aerated water. Whether it's Coke, Pepsi, 7-Up, Sprite, Miranda, Fanta, you name it, whatever it is, they all have the same effect on our system. This is good old Singapore water. Okay. One which Lee Kuan Yew said is one of the cleanest in the world, and mind you, it is one of the cleanest in the world. Okay, very highly processed. And then you've got in this bottle, same Singapore water, but it has gone through another level of processing with a machine. Okay? And we'll see in a short while what it does. Now, as I was trying to explain to you, this machine is a neutral machine. It is not even made by this company. It is made by American marine ink. It is meant for aquariums. You stick it in the aquarium, leave it there. If the reading goes too high, guess what? Your fishes will go through a lot of oxidative stress, they will die. Okay, that's what happens. So it measures. It measures in millivolts. Millivolts is a measurement of passage of current. It means how much electrons are moving. Now, if it's positive, it means the substance that I'm dipping this tip into has lacking electrons. If it's positive, it means, you know, in physics, that's what it is. When you've got lesser electrons, that means the charge will show as positive. When you've got a lot more electrons, it will show as negative. So you want this to be close to zero or negative if possible. Okay? So we'll begin with this, and I need one of you all to volunteer just to read. Okay? And before that, let me just prepare one more cup of plain water to rinse the probe. Okay. So now, if the reading says 130, 200 or 300, whatever it says, okay, like in this case it says 156. That means this environment actually is sucking 156 electrons per second from your cells. That's what's happening. The environment is actually a bit oxidative in nature. Okay? Now, if I were to dip this into water and you have a reading, anyone can read this out?
200.
This is our tap water. Natural tap water.
It's going up 200 plus.
Now it's a very sensitive equipment, so we are not going to wait until it stabilizes. As long as 100 plus, 200 plus, 150, 200, that's all we want to know, okay? So that's water. Now, this is tap water. Let me start with this water. This is cactus, mineral water from Malaysia. What's the number?
Almost 300.
Almost 300? Almost 300, okay? So it adds oxidative stress into your FNNs. About same? They're all about the same? Can you read the number? Yeah? About same? How much of difference? Alpheus, pure drinking, distilled pure drinking water.
300 plus.
Again 300 plus. Yeah? 300 plus. And then you've got Dasani.
310.
Huh? All about 300 something, yeah? All around there. Some a little bit more, some a little bit less. Then you've got your sports drink.
430.
Huh?
430.
400 something. So it's worse, right? It's far worse. And we think it's supposed to be good. Marketing says it's going to help you, give you a lot of minerals, give you a lot of energy and stuff. I think from now onwards they should start calling it 400 plus, right? Not 100 plus. Okay. Now, then you've got aerated water. The worst, right? These two are the worst. Am I right? So still about 400 something? 440 something. Okay, good. Then let's test this water out. This is the processed water. What is
Minus
it?
700 plus.
Minus?
700.
Can you see the sign minus? Yeah? Minus 700 plus. Huh? It's not a fluke thing because this is a neutral machine. It just measures what's in the potential in the water. Can you see this tap water?
200 plus.
200 plus. Now, if you heard what I said earlier, every day, every second, there's so much of oxidative stress within your system. Do you need to add more by drinking water which is adding oxidative stress? So all we try and tell people is that if there is some level of oxidative stress within your system, start drinking this water, and as you keep drinking, it will start negating the oxidative stress in your system. And the difference is not small. You saw it's 700 plus and our water itself is 200 plus. So the difference seems to be about 1000 millivolts difference. That's how much of a difference you are making by continuously drinking this water. One glass of this water has got more antioxidants in it than any of the pills that you can take, assuming the content of the pills can be absorbed by your body. Okay? That's the first part of it. So just this property alone makes this water phenomenally different in its effect. Tap water again. By the way, whatever it is that I'm going to present to you, as I said earlier, it doesn't come from me, it comes from experts. Okay? And my way of doing this demonstration and all is not to leave anything to imagination. So you will see it physically and you will know that this is it. Okay? That will be good, right? Rather than to just learn about it theoretically. Okay? So that's the part about oxidative stress. Now, by now with that small little demonstration, you know that most of the soda water and everything, the oxidative stress is on that side, about plus 400. That's what it introduces into your system. Then you've got RO water, purified water, distilled water, mineral water, all of them are in that category. 300 plus. Tap water sits somewhere there also. Depending on the pipes that it comes through and depending on the location, depends on where it comes from. And then you've got, okay, that means it adds more oxidation and more sickness to your system. Then you've got vitamin C, which is about minus 100. You've got green tea, which is about minus 200. And then you've got, interestingly, cod liver oil. Not bad, huh? Minus 300. But how many of you can fancy drinking about 1 liter of cod liver oil every day? Yeah. And an easier solution is this, because this machine can produce, you saw for yourself, between minus 400 to minus 800 in ORP. So just drinking this water alone, you are now neutralizing all that free radical damage. Something which naturally happens in your system because of the air we breathe in, because of the pesticides we consume, because of stress, because of our lifestyle, everything else introduces free radical into you, and this water helps you to neutralize it. And you heard from Dr. Sharma that if you stop this free radical damage, you've got a very high chance that you will stop all of these degenerative diseases from ever affecting you or your loved ones. Okay? What is the second root cause? Acidosis. Acidosis, right? Too much of acidity. Too much of acidity. Again, I'm going to quote to you from some experts who have researched, who have done the voluminous research and published books. The first guy is Dr. Theodore A. Barudi. He wrote this book called Alkaline or Die. Very simple, short statement. He says you got no choice. You either start to alkalize yourself or you will die of too much of acidity. All disease, not some, all disease comes from the same root cause of too much of acidity. This is the second main root cause of all degenerative diseases. Not only him, this guy called Kangen, in his book Reverse Aging,